As we have said many times here on Ring of Fire, there is a very good chance that Nestle may actually be one of the worst companies on the entire planet. Whether it's stealing water out in California in areas that have been ravaged by a drought, or telling women in Africa that their baby formula is healthier than breast milk, which it is not, or it could be their use of child slave labor in their cocoa fields. Joining me now to talk about that particular issue and the resulting lawsuits from that is Scott Hardy from Top Class Actions. So Scott, this issue of Nestle using child slave labor, it is something we have discussed for many years here on Ring of Fire. But lay out this particular lawsuit, because the lawsuit is not actually, brought by the children out there in the cocoa fields. It's actually a little more complex than that, isn't it?
You're right. It's quite complex, and this is something that I've been talking with different attorneys for quite literally years, as they've been trying to figure out how to actually go after Nestle and figure out the right way to target them and ideally make them change their labor practices and how they're actually sourcing their chocolate. And so that's what this class action is about, because they can't go ahead and represent these kids who are being worked long hours and with dangerous chemicals. They can't go out there and represent them, at least not yet. But right now, they're trying to represent a group of people who bought Nestle chocolate thinking that it was safely and ethically sourced, when in fact, Nestle has gone against, even though they said, yes, everything is ethically sourced. Ever since 2001, we're doing the right thing and we're helping people out down there in Côte d'Ivoire. But alas, as we now know, it appears that it may have just been words they were speaking, didn't mean anything, because more recent studies, including back in 2015, showed that not only has the child labor problem not decreased, it's actually increased and gotten worse for the families and children in Côte d'Ivoire.
And what we're looking at right now is the fact that Nestle, on its labeling, on its packaging, knowing that they had these really bad human rights abuses, and knowing that the public was becoming aware of that, so they decided on their label, according to the lawsuit, we're going to say that this is sustainably sourced, we support farmers for better chocolate, and improve the lives of cocoa farmers. But what they're not saying is that, oh, by the way, these cocoa farmers, they're technically children who are living under what the International Labor Organization calls the worst forms of child labor. They left that part off of their label here. So, I mean, really, there's little question, there's little doubt whatsoever that this is still taking place and that Nestle is not being honest about it. So to me, this is a very interesting and smart way to go after them, because as you pointed out, they can't exactly, represent these children. The lawyers in America can't do that right now, but this way, at least they can draw more attention to it. At least they might be able to change the labor practices. This is a very smart lawsuit, if you ask me.
Yeah, it really is. And it's targeting those consumers that are buying the chocolate. And of course, these consumers who are saying, I'm happy to pay a premium for ethically sourced chocolate. But what you're doing is you're selling me what you say is ethically sourced chocolate, when we're finding out through these other studies that no, it's not ethically sourced. Yes, the cocoa farmers are benefiting by Nestle, but the kids who are doing the actual farming, it's a worse situation than ever for them. And so hopefully we'll see this class action not only result in a change of the way Nestle is getting its cocoa beans, but also possibly result in actually putting some money back in consumers' chocolates who are paying premiums for what they believe is ethically sourced chocolate.
And what's even more interesting too is it is not only regarding the child labor. This also has to do with a little bit of environmental issues, because they're also claiming in there that they say, oh, this is, all environmentally sound, but it turns out they may actually be using protected lands for some of their cocoa farming. So this kind of hits on two big issues with both the child labor and the environmental destruction that is caused as a result of some of this cocoa farming. For anyone who needs more information about this issue, follow the link in the description of this video, head over to topclassactions.com, and make sure that you also sign up for the weekly newsletter from Top Class Actions to stay up to date on all of the information that consumers need to know about. Scott Hardy, Top Class Actions, always a pleasure talking to you.
Great talking to you too, Farron. Thank you.